Hey guys, Billy here. Welcome back to some more tips for some Stalcraft. Alright, I have nearly doubled my hours in this game. I'm sitting at like 124, 26, something like that. Somewhere in that range. But for my first tip, I wanted to talk about some like hidden merchant tabs. So if you get like the S.B.A. parts or the S.T.A.L.K.E.R parts, XM8 parts, and you want to know how to craft that specific item, you'll go to your merchant, hit the little two arrows that make a circle. You'll click on it, and then you'll add your parts. And you also got a sell section where you can sell guns that you get from the current crates, and you can also trade in your spare blueprints. This guy also has a little trade thing here. And with the act tickets, you can buy Albatross or Gauss rifle parts, and you can go here to redeem those. And this guy also has a couple different stores. I think this is for the sub factions, and I'm not even sure, other than like I know you can buy the crates for these on the auction, but I'm not sure where else you get the crates. And then you got more stuff. I don't know, it was kind of a half-baked tip, but a lot of people, including myself, just didn't know how to craft the SBA or the SSR, the XM8. Alright, on to my next tip. Teaching you kind of how to move things more efficiently in your inventory. If you press and hold shift and left click, it will move a full stack or an item between your storage or your inventory. And if you hit control and left click, you can split. And for weapons and armor, if you hit shift and right click, it opens up the modification menu. Another handy one is if you press and hold shift and right click on an ammo pouch or a med kit pouch, it will unpack it. And if you take those same buttons to the shop, they do kinda sorta the same but different things. If you hit shift left click, it just transfers over, you know, the stack that it shows you, like times 10, times 30, or a single. But it gets a little weird once you press and hold control. It will pick up usually 1 or 2 max stacks, depending on the item. Like, it's a bit strange for pouches because it pulls up 10. So I guess it goes by the amount that's in there. So it times it by 2. It's a full stack times 2, essentially. But that's not the case with armor plates. It just pulls out 10. And I'm not really sure what the research is. Yeah, 10 as well. So it's either 10 or a 2 full stacks. You'll kind of have to play around with the items to figure it out. Alright, my next tip is to put your metal detector in your inventory. And when you're out and about, just leave it in there. You don't have to pull it out until it starts going off. And I'll show you some footage of that. So you're out and about clearing some dens, la 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 la. And then, out of nowhere, you hear a beep. My metal detector is still in my bag. And if you watched my first tip video, you'll know how to hotkey. You'll pull that bad boy out. And then you can search for your caches. Almost called them stashes. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassing myself here. Look at that, right next to each other. Kinda absolutely insane. Pure luck right here. That is unheard of. I'm so glad I got that on film. Yeah, you do not have to have your metal detector out all the time to pick up signals. It just has to be in your bag. Alright, for my next tip, since you went out there and you found you a bunch of caches, but now you need to charge your metal detector. Find your local technician, the guy who repairs your gear, and just look and listen for the sound of a generator. You'll plop that bad boy in there. This goes for any of your electronic devices, by the way. Then, even though it has a lock symbol on it, you can still hit charge, and it will charge you rubles to charge your equipment. My next tip is to run with your... Oh, thanks for the interruption there, pal. Alright, my next tip is to run with your melee weapon out instead of one of your weapons. Why, you may ask? I'll show you. So if you look very carefully at the stats of all of these, it has a movement speed buff. They're very small at the beginning, but as you progress down the line, that buff gets significantly higher. Alright, my next tip is going to be you can sort your personal inventory. So if your stuff's kind of a mess, you got junk all over the place, and instead of sorting it all out on your own, you have a little sort tab here. Or if you just want to get your barter materials out, if you've got a bunch of weapons in your inventory, a bunch of different heals, types of ammo, and junk. Same works for your personal storage. It sorts everything nice and neat. Sometimes it puts stuff kind of separated in a way that doesn't make much sense. Like I have a bunch of camos here, then a bunch of stuff in the middle, and then more camos, but I think it's just because of the rarity. But I could be wrong. But once again, you can also sort between all the different items that are in that inventory. And it's very handy when you're trying to single like one or just a few things out that you're looking for. My next tip is going to be how to tag items in the world chat. Alright, first of all, it needs to be in your inventory, not equipped. See, if you look for, we'll look for the Worn Age and the S.B.A. Okay, you'll go into the chat, hold down tab, and then all the items in your inventory, but not what you have equipped, will pull up in here. See, we can only find the S.B.A. We cannot find the armor that I'm currently wearing. So you'll just click on it, and it'll add the text here. Click on another, and another. And then you'll just type in whatever text you want to, be like, hey man, this is my setup right now. Or you can simply just go bam. Hit enter, and it's in the chat for the whole world to see. Or just the stalkers in your area. But additionally, you can right click and see other person's builds. Or, like I like to do, just Google it your own, just goggle at your own creation. My next tip is also going to be centered around this whole chatting system. Use it. I cannot stress enough how useful it is. If you absolutely need help with something, pop into your faction group chat or the general and just be like, hey man, I need help with such and such, or where do I find such and such. It's also a really good place to find teammates. Just be like, hey, who has this side quest, or who's going to this area? I need someone to come with me. Or does someone want someone to go with to this specific area? Like, you would be surprised how helpful this community is. And for my bonus tipperoni for the homies, the auction house is a must. Don't spend all your money here because you will need your money for other things. But you can use the auction house to get a hold of artifacts that you just can't seem to find or don't have access to yet. You can buy different medicine that you don't have the reputation level for, like guides and army for scientists, medkits for when you first start out. You can buy different ammunition that you don't have access to, like the 7.62 and incendiary in general. I think you don't get until bar level 7, but I could be wrong. And this stuff, I'm fairly certain only comes from airdrops up north, but once again, I could be totally wrong about that. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. This has been my second tips and tricks video for Stalcraft. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.